All right, so we're about to swap out the pinion seal on the 489 housing in the back of Little Red. That's originally out of my 71D100. And we're going to put on the collar so I can put a vehicle speed sensor on this and do boost by mile an hour. And if I'd been thinking, when I had this center section built, I'd have had them put in a crush sleeve eliminator, but I didn't. So we're going to mark the end of the pinion and the pinion nut so you could put it back exactly where it was, give or take a few thousandths, and hopefully it'll be just fine. We'll have to replace the crush sleeve with a sloppy it. And we'll pull out that dust shield while we're at it, because that's where the collar is going to go for the speed sensor. Okay, so we just gave it a small nick with the die grinder and the cutoff wheel so we can line those back up. Alrighty, so we got our vehicle speed magnetic wheel we're trying to install, and it was the right size for the yoke up to these two shoulders right here, and it wouldn't go any further, and it wouldn't clear the oil seal without doing something with it. So we were going to turn the yoke down, which I didn't really want to do, because you take your fillet out of here and it loses a little bit of strength. What my local powder coat guy did, he also dabbles in a little bit of everything, put this in his lathe and he opened up the wheel itself without hitting the magnets. So now slides all the way on and fully seats. So we'll put this dude back on Little Red and then start on the wiring of the vehicle speed sensor. Okay, so we got let's put the yoke back on, got the new seal pushed in. Don't forget to Loctite the pinion threads, and then we're just going to put this pinion nut on and then line up the marks we made earlier. And if it don't work, I'll let y'all know. Alrighty, so cardboard templated what we're going to use for the mount for the pickup. That'll go over there. Transferred it to my aluminum, 1/4 inch. My wife diddled on it. I'm gonna cut that out and come back. Okay, it's all in, it's all back together. Collar clears the pinion seal. Got right at like 45 thousandths between the collar and the pickup. Plate didn't turn out too awful. And that's that, man. Just gotta get this dude wired up and rewire up my boost controller. Look at that booty. Alrighty, she's all wired up. The vehicle speed sensor. The boost solenoid is rewired. One side goes to 12 volt switched. Other side goes to one of your, what have I got it hooked up to? Let's have a look, since we kept track of all of it. Boost control is going to be high output 3 on your white connector, light green with the red stripes. That's wired in. And then our vehicle speed sensor's got 3 wires, red for 12 volt switched, black for your ground, and then white is your actual input to your ECU, which on this one, we put on the gray connector. Digital frequency in is the purple with the red stripe, so it's all wired in. Only thing is, I may have needed to run shielded, and I didn't do it. Didn't think about that until I got to the rear end and noticed that the sensor itself, the pigtail for it, is shielded. So we'll just see what happens here. I'll do something with that later. That's just for now, for temporary. There's a bracket. It's a pickup wheel. Sensor. All the way up to yonder. And we'll just see what she does. Oh, apologies, you'll probably get nauseous. Oh, got the I pulled out 2 of the springs in the wastegates. It's down to just the on-3 11-pound springs. I guess I should put the reference back on that one. Easiest way I found to change wastegate springs without taking your face off is to set it on your countertop. Get your big clamp it due to the workbench while you take the screws out. That works good for me, especially when you're trying to put 22 pounds worth of springs in them. All right, so that's where we're at thus far. Morning. She's all back together. She's programmed. She's tested. It is freaking awesome. For the first time ever, I can put this thing on the floor from a dead stop and not have to lift. Just drive through and shift gears. No more blowing the tires off in first and second gear with 22 pounds of boost. It is awesome. So it's all together. We've gone over all that. Let's look at the programming on the Tuner Studio. So when you open up your Tuner Studio for your vehicle speed sensor, you go to Advanced Engine, Speed and Gear Sensors. And then here's my settings. You've got 4 separate vehicle speed sensors you can do on this. I just disabled the other 3 and just used the one. So our input type, as we've talked about, is digital, and digital frequency N2, which we've kept notes on all our different pinouts on our MS3 and labeled them. So you know what you got available, what goes to what, all that good stuff. Alrighty. Now, a few things that threw me off for a little bit. I thought this, in my infinite wisdom, was the wheel diameter of the magnetic wheel on the yoke. I don't know why I thought that. Probably because the default value was 0.625. Because what this is, when you actually look, is the overall diameter of the wheel and the tire, which is spelled wrong. I don't know if this is the British program or what, but they give it to you in meters instead of, American inches. So to change that, you go down here to preferred length units, and you can choose between inches or meters. And then the speed sensor number of teeth is going to be 4. That's the number of magnets you have on your wheel. And then other things I changed, let's see right here, VSS sampling, I changed it to 25. Okay. To get a quicker response because it accelerates pretty freaking hard. Put in your drive ratio here so it knows what speed you're doing. And then there's one more thing. Oh, when I first did this in my infinite wisdom, I had this on wheel, not on driveline. So the MS3 thought I was doing 350 miles an hour at 60. So I had all the boost all at once. Once I changed that, it started working almost perfectly. I just had to tweak this a little bit to match what I had on my GPS speedometer. Alrighty, that is that. Then you go here to boost control versus speed. Freaking love this. It's going to pull up this little table here. Now when it first comes up, you're not going to have your graph at all. I don't know if it's my MS3 needs an update or it's just the way they made it, but I could not click and drag. It took me about 15 minutes to figure out how to make this work. So I went through all this, couldn't figure out how to actually get me a graph here. Ended up clicking on this. It pulls up this table. Then you can insert duty cycle and speed. Okay, and that'll dump this up here. And then once you've got that, then you can move these around. For whatever reason, it wouldn't let me do it just from the get-go. And that's it, man. Freaking awesome. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Best mod so far on this thing. So we will, looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day today. Probably get some driving video of this too. Anyway, y'all have a good one.